when you first turn on the gimbal and balance your camera, I like to do a horizontal calibration. To do that, you swipe down, hit the little settings cog, and scroll down to horizontal calibration. And you just tap that and it does its thing. I find that the RS4 is way easier to balance than the RSC. And that's because, I think because the motor is stronger, so it has a higher tolerance for error. That's what I find. All right, so that's done. The next thing I do is I go all the way out back to the beginning, or the front of the menu, and I calibrate the motor. So I start calibration. It's a little noisy, I mean, relatively speaking, but it does its thing. It doesn't take long. I especially like that you can do this right on the gimbal. At some point, you do have to connect it to your phone via the app, but after that, you don't have to use your phone to operate the gimbal or to calibrate at all. All right, the last thing I do is a gimbal check. So I swipe down, hit a little settings cog, and right below horizontal calibration is a gimbal auto check. That's just to test that everything is good. Now, on the very front of the menu, if the little gimbal icon is green, that lets you know that everything is calibrated perfectly. And that way your motors won't overwork. So once you're done with that, then it will just say okay. And everything's done, right? All right. So as it stands now, it's not connected, and you know that because this little icon here is not blue, the camera with the Bluetooth symbol. To connect to your camera, and it works with all the cameras, I mean, I have an A6400 and it connects perfectly. You gotta make sure you go into the camera menu and turn Bluetooth on, that's on the network, and turn Bluetooth on, then turn on Bluetooth remote control. Once that's on, you go to the gimbal, tap the little icon, so you swipe down to tap the little icon, and you can then connect. The wonderful thing, and also interesting, is that you can connect the cameras even if they're not on the gimbal. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but it's there. All right, so the FX30 is now connected by Bluetooth, and that will be confirmed by the little Bluetooth symbol next to the camera, and it's all in blue. All right, so with that, you can then stop recording by tapping the record button on here. You can customize the little M button. I'm sure you've seen a ton of that. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you is how you can control other things on your camera. So you swipe up and go to dial functions. I don't have focus motor on here, so that means if I had a focus motor on here and turn the wheel in the front, then I could control the focus motor and so on. Notice that ISO, aperture, and shutter are grayed out. Come to that in a second. You can then select if you want the gimbal wheel to control the roll, or the pan, or the tilt. So to get access to your camera's ISO and aperture and shutter, you have to use a USB-C to micro USB, and I have that here. Just move that out of the way. All right, and then so once you've done that, you'll see that all the options are now available: the ISO, aperture, and shutter, and you can select either one of those. Let's select ISO. You can see that the ISO is changing by turning the wheel here. That's fantastic. And the aperture, we'll try that. You can see the aperture is changing. Now, because I have shutter angle turned on the FX30, when I try to change the shutter, nothing happens. But if I turn off shutter angle, let me lock this thing. If I turn off shutter angle, I have that saved to my menu, to shutter mode, shutter angle, and change that to shutter speed. Now when I try to change the shutter with the gimbal, you can see it's changing. So now you can change all three. That's fantastic. Fantastic. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful gimbal. The handles that you see here actually did not come with the gimbal. I got these from Small Rig, and this gives me a better grip. I put my phone on one end, sometimes a microphone on the other, and it works great. All right, that's it.